So before we dive in, I want to talk about how I go about preparing for this session. First of all, this is a technique that I use for journaling a lot. When I am stuck on a problem or really not sure what direction to go, I will either grab a book or an oracle card to pull what I'm supposed to be doing, what I am guided to do. I love using the four agreements, especially for relationship problems, because it's really a great guideline for how to proceed with living our lives. And if you are new to the four agreements, I do have a book study here on YouTube that you can go chapter by chapter and kind of work it with the program. So what I do for today is right before I went live, I kind of touched in with my intuition and said, what do we need to look at today to explore? What does everybody that's going to be here today need to explore? And today I opened page 67. So if you have the book, grab it. And we're going to work from page 67, very specifically, the only full paragraph on page 67. So I'm going to start by reading it, talk just a little bit about it and what it's saying. And then I have a series of journal prompts that you can use to do our journaling. We'll journal for 10 minutes and then I'll answer questions if anybody has any questions. So let's go ahead and dive into page 67. And if you have questions while I'm doing this, go ahead and put them in the chat and I will work through them as I can. So on page 67, the paragraph that we're using for our journaling today, it is talking about, we're in the making assumptions section, and it says, in any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think, and we don't have to say what we want. They are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, what we assume they should do, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. Again, we make the assumption that the other person knows what we want. A whole drama is created because we make this assumption and then put more assumptions on top of it. So really what it's talking about is not only do we need to not make assumptions about what other people are thinking or saying, is we can't assume they know what we want. And I've actually been in a relationship where this was a big issue. And the person actually said to me, well, you know me so well, you should know exactly what I want. I shouldn't have to tell you. I quote, I shouldn't have to tell you. And so that puts the other person in a very odd situation because most of us aren't mind readers. And so it's very difficult to know exactly what the person is thinking, what they want, and what they need if they're not doing it. And so when we're doing that to other people, it really puts a strain on the relationship because we're putting all of our needs and wants onto them without communicating exactly what we need and want. And so we really, truly want to ensure that we communicate our needs and that they understand them also. So it seems like a really straightforward concept, but it is one of those things that the more you're in a relationship, the easier it is to get caught into, well, they know me. We've been together for 20 years. They should know. But the thing to keep in mind is we're constantly changing. The situations are different. They're changing. And maybe they aren't as in tune to you as you think they are. So what we're going to do for our journaling today with this is I've divided it into two sections, past events and current events. If you're dealing with a past event right now where there's a lot of anger about what happened, then use this series of journal prompts. If you've got a current situation going on that you kind of need better communication, then use these. So I will also type these in the comment section once I turn on the music for journaling. So in past issues, pull up the past issue that you have in mind and look at what you did not communicate. So ask yourself, what did I not communicate in my needs in this particular situation? And then how did that impact the situation? You could also look at it from the perspective of what would you have wanted in that situation? If it was flipped, what would you have wanted within that situation? What information did they not have that you should have given them? So kind of explore where your role was in that. Now, if it's an ongoing situation, ask yourself, have I communicated what I expect and want? And what do you want? So you might actually have to start with what do I want in this situation that you can then communicate. And now you need to communicate not only what you want and need, but what you're thinking and feeling. If you don't communicate that you're sad about something, that doesn't help them in the situation at all. So really decide, what do you want and what do I need to communicate? And ask yourself, have I verbalized what I want, expect, need, and feel? So that's what we're going to journal on. I am going to turn on some music. We're going to do 10 minutes of journaling, and then I will answer some questions at the end. I am using music by Chris Collins. It's called Infinite Calm, and I have licensed it not only to use here, but also with my meditations that I do. So if there's no questions, I'm going to go ahead and start the music, and I will put some of those journal prompts in the chat section so that you can have them there. And then on the flip side, I'll answer questions. All right, happy journaling. That's 10 minutes. So if you go ahead and finish up what you're writing down. And I'm going to share with you two more prompts that I ended up using in my journaling that might help you going forward. The first one is, do I have any situations where I am not communicating all my needs? This is going to be a great one if you just kind of need to do a broad, like, okay, where do I need to put out the fire before the fire happens? So again, that was, do I have any situations where I am not communicating my needs? And then another one that I came up with was pull up a list of upcoming events and then ask yourself, is there anything I have not communicated that would impact one of these future events? So again, being very proactive in your communication, because sometimes it's not that we haven't communicated, just like we're overlooking and assuming they know what we're saying. It's that we forget that, oh, hey, this event is tomorrow. I never told my spouse we need to do XYZ. So just kind of preemptively going, okay, this is what I need to communicate about what I need and want, so that you're not making them make assumptions. So does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and pop them in the comments. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and end this, and then we can I'll answer questions as it's on the page. Lost my words though. Can you put those questions in the chat? TJ, I will put them in the description as soon as the ending of this happens. YouTube will process it, and I will put in the description all of the journal prompts, so they're right there and easy to have, so that they are accessible. So I will definitely do that. Any other questions? Any great insights anybody wants to share? I always love doing this exercise because you never know when you're going to forget something or when you're assuming something that isn't occurring. So, all right, if there's no other questions, then I will go ahead and end our live for today. I will be doing more of these. I had done some lives about a year ago and for some reason stopped. I don't know why. But I'm going to get back into the habit of doing them on a regular basis. And this will be one that we do on a regular basis because I love this technique of journaling. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so that you don't miss notifications of when I am going to do them live. And I will see you guys next time. Have a fantastic rest of your week.